Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz Interview Series with BC-based composer Holly Burke. She talked about the new 2022 CD Dreamride done with fellow composer in 2020 in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, and after a 5-year struggle with post-concussion syndrome, Holly finally found herself back at the piano, improvising again. Her muse had returned. Re-invigorated, she shared a few new themes and unfinished compositions with musician and composer Bill, a longtime collaborator of hers, now sidelined by the pandemic. Their collaboration yielded 20 new pieces of music. Having decided to record this music, they could think of no better pianist for the job than the great Linda Lee Thomas, the principal pianist with the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra since 1972. We get into quite a bit in this interview. Enjoy.
Thank you again for taking a minute out. And before we get into Dreamride, I want to know how you survived COVID. You know, the world's kind of waking up. We've gone through quite a thing. How did you survive it as an artist, and how has it changed the way that you approach things now?
Well, gosh, we both had COVID twice. Go figure. And I don't know, it's kind of humbling. I mean, you know, this massive thing that's happening on the planet that's affecting us extremely directly. And, you know, you take the vaccines, you hope for the best, but, I mean, you still get COVID.
Let's talk a little bit about Dreamride, you know, kind of with the context of COVID coming out of it. You know, the world's opening up, live shows are happening, we have a brand new year. How does it feel to have a new album out now?
Absolutely incredible. Oh, my God. Talk about a passion project. You know, we dreamed this up in the quietness of the COVID stuff, you know, and I was musing about, you know, my old music books and how much I loved got attached to the books, the study books that we all had, you know, learning our instruments growing up. I thought, well, God, it'd be really cool to, you know, let's make a book. And it really started out as a book concept. And, of course, we do have a book as well of the music, lovingly made by Bill. The guy's a master craftsman, and he's a genius on Sibelius, huh? So, yeah, we've created this beautiful book of the 20 pieces. I had a book called 20 Little Pieces of a Flute Method, and we just thought, well, hey, let's do 20, you know? And it was a gas coming up with them and pouring all our love and attention into these beautiful little pieces, and each one is kind of like a story. Yeah, we had all the time in the world, of course, so many rewrites, back and forth and back and forth. What can we add? You know, what else can we do with this? How can we mess with this? Oh, wait, we haven't done anything with hands crossing over. Let's do a hands crossing over one. And that became Monkey Puzzle. And then the final step being, what can we take away? You know, this is cool, love what we have, but, you know, do we really need all of this? Can we remove something? And I think that's a very important part of the process, too.
So talk to me a little bit about how this music union started for you and how it works so well.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, our skill sets are so well meshed. You know, I'm kind of the broad stroke person. You know, I can come up with stuff pretty easily. You know, and but I'm not good nearly as good as Bill at details and development. Bill is an incredible developer. So I can come up with, you know, seed ideas, basic figures, and then he gets it on paper. And once it's on paper, it's like, oh, okay, well, now here, you know, here's our basis, here's our structure. What do we do with that? What can we do with that? And sometimes we'd get like, you know, let's say 3 ideas right off the top, maybe not even related, okay? Like three very different ideas, and then it was like a game, right? Like how can these go together? Do these go together? And then of course the big issue is like connections and segues and transitions. You know, man, we spent a lot of time on transitions.
So what are you ultimately hoping the listener gets from Dreamride? What do you want them to get from it?
an incredible, satisfying journey. You know, I want them to feel like they've gone places they've never been before.
Let me ask you this. If you were to come to Kansas City and perform this album,
yeah,
and even other tunes, how would you describe a show? How would you sell a show to get people to come to it and be a part of it? How would you describe it?
Yeah. I'd love to do that, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Big time. The thing is, right, you know, because creativity is something that just cannot be stopped and should not be stopped. Things have developed, right, since the solo album, the Essential Dreamride, you know, the 20 tunes themselves. All kinds of things have happened in the last year. Bill and I are playing with Linda, plus we have this, believe it or not, operatic baritone, a Mexican guy from Mexico City studying at UBC here in the opera program. He has a voice that will melt you. And baritone, I mean, oh, yes, please. And not only that, he's written a bunch of very beautiful counter melodies and lyrics in English and in Spanish. And oh yeah, it's a big shindig, you know.
So let me ask you this, kind of on behalf of both of you, you know, and maybe this is an answer for just you or for both of you. Why do you love jazz?
Why do we love jazz? Oh, always because of the freedom. You know, I was, you know, studied classical music from piano from when I was little, like 4, and, you know, in my family we listened to classical music, you know, like discovering jazz, discovering Motown. I mean, these things, and also bossa nova, were just incredible liberating forces for me. It was like, this is the stuff, you know. The spirit of exploration, of freedom, and love, you know, the way it brings people together. I mean, it's like a ritual, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What was the first live show that you saw that blew you away, that made you think you might want to be a performer?
Ooh, interesting question. Oh, God, you know what? It might have been Jethro Tull. Yeah, because I'm a flute player as well. And when I was learning flute, I didn't get to flute till I was 16, but when I was learning flute, you know, Ian Anderson, the way he brought the flute front and forward as a rock instrument, you know, the nice little flute was suddenly, you know, an instrument to contend with, and that inspired me.
So, you know, what is it that you like the best about being a professional musician? You have all these aspects that go into it, but what is it that you like the best about it?
Well, I like all of it. You know, of course, recently, you know, I've been really, of course, digging the writing more than anything else, and just because of the COVID thing, of course, the solitude of sitting at the piano, and that intimacy with the instrument. You know, it's always been my go-to instrument for writing, for ideas. There's something about it. So that has been all-encompassing. The beauty of the performance, of course, is unbelievable and overwhelming. Actually sharing, you know, your creations with the people is such a deep joy.
Everyone out there has a perception of you, you know, your family, your friends, your fans, but ultimately you're in control of your life. You live it. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Oh, well, I'm a creative being. Highly sensitive, maybe too sensitive. I'm very moved. God, I'm just so very moved by my experiences in life. You know, it's just a profound journey, and it has to be expressed. I mean, this stuff, it has to come out of you. So I love dance. Also, I love poetry, you know, and can't wait to do some painting. Yeah,
absolutely. Holly, where is the best place for everybody to get Dreamride, stream it, buy it, find out about any live shows, anything about you and Bill? Where should they go?
Right on. All the music is up on Bandcamp.
Excellent.
And we're on Facebook. We're on all the, Instagram. We're on all the social media stuff. My website is hollyburke.com, and Bill is Bill Runge, RUNGE.com. And we've got a big show coming up. Oh my God, on the 19th of February, and I think we'll be streaming. And there's an opportunity there too, and all that info will be on our social media and, of course, Bandcamp.
Wonderful. Holly, hey, thank you for opening up. Thanks for taking some time out. Good luck with the album, and have a great 2023.
Oh, thanks, Joe. All the best. A real pleasure to be on your show.
Thanks for listening and tuning into another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in British Columbia, New York City, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Holly for her time, energy, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store or Spotify. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.